He's been talking for a while, off and on. Mhm. It's not on my screen. Okay. Can you still hear me, Jasper? Apparently, I was still hearable, despite the fact that I have everybody else muted. Because Rob has some weird setup with his sound devices. I had to change my settings. Like, he sent me this whole package of stuff, which is great, but, yeah. It's like I have to change all the folder references to my folders and stuff. I can set it up so they'll go slower for next time. I can hear you. That's fine. We'll figure something out. All right, in 1 minute, I want to do the intro, and then we will get started. Nothing. I was just playing with the quote bot. All right, running the intro now. I'm just gonna be quiet in case they can still hear me because I can't tell. noticed a couple typos in the intro, but we're working out the bugs. It fits the system. It works nicely.
What was wrong?
There was a couple misspellings.
Really?
Yeah, I'll go through it with you later. It's no biggie.
It's not like you haven't watched that video enough to have noticed.
Well,
Or
I did literally just notice it, but it's fine. So let me just do a quick test. Can you guys hear me? Can somebody? Never mind.
yeah,
I
you're
unmuted.
here.
Okay, just making sure. All right. So, hello everybody, and welcome to episode 1 of the Dial-Up and Dragon series, the beginning of the start of the dawn of the series. I'm Jeff. I will be DMing, and I have with me several players who will be helping to play test-ish the Retroverse system. If you go to lasersandliches.com, you can check that out. It's pretty freaking awesome.
And hopefully we'll be done before Critical Role starts, so if y'all can hang out with us and then go watch Critical
Role. But Jerry, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hiya, I am Jerry Shockmo, here Saved by the Dice, and I am playing, well, I'm not really playing one yet, but it's a kind of bard thing, and I am a half-elf, and my name is Miss A. And I'm a valley girl who's not living in a valley.
Who wants to go next?
Hi, I'm Lori Door GM. I am playing Billy B. Harper, who's really quiet. Just leave me alone. I just want my books. My books are my friends.
And Marcy?
Hi, my name is Marcy Villan. I am going to be playing Naomi Quayle. My family is a family of mechanics. I have 6 brothers, and none of them want me to race, but I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, girl power.
And Bropez?
I'm Bropez. I'm gonna play a half-orc pugilist named Kazuma, who runs the local gang.
And last but not least, we have our ever enigmatic Sterling.
Yes, I am still Sterling, playing someone different this time. I'll be playing Kath, the tiefling who's straight out of the gutter and basically just got where she was by effectively beating up the right person and catching the attention of your local nefarious ne'er-do-wells who have put her in this university for God knows what reason.
You're still our scientist, though. You will always be our scientist.
I will never not be the nerd. Yes, this I'm perfectly fine with.
Never stop sciencing. So, that brings us to our setting, which is going to be a city called Los Angeles. And it is essentially a mishmash of several major U.S. cities intercut with bits of Blade Runner, some Fifth Element, and things of that nature. It is a city divided, quite literally. There is a downtown section, and then there is an uptown section, which is literally directly above the downtown area. As you can imagine, the higher classed people, quote unquote, or at least economically advantaged, tend to live in the upper area, whereas most people, including our characters, are going to be starting from the downtown. There is a kind of a hexagonal shape. Well, actually, I guess it'll be an octagon to the city. And it is divided up into several different zones. The map that I have is absolutely horrible, but I was unable to get my program to cooperate and do what I wanted it to do, so it'll have to do for now. But our characters are all from the same residential zone, which is Zone 6. It is a fairly comfortable area, and they are all attending the University of Notre Dame, which is near the border to Zone 7, which happens to be an area called Leisureland, which is full of all of your gambling and vices and such what. A real great place to have a college.
study hard.
But as we begin, what I would like to do is just kind of, I'll tell you what. Actually, everybody, roll me an initiative. Actually, let me drag you all into the thing.
Oh
so that
god,
you
Nat
can
20s, look at
first.
these. They're such a waste.
I can fix it. I can fix anything. Who's unnamed? Oh,
No.
I have no idea who unnamed is.
it's all right. I was just like, wait, there's not enough people, but there is. Okay, so remove unnamed. Okay, let me fix these initiatives real quick. Holy crap, we got 2 natural 20s.
Yeah, I know. I said it's such a waste.
It really is.
Shut up.
It's just the dice gods taunting us. No big deal.
19.
As always, also on Saved by the Dice. I don't know if we're doing it this episode, but you can always trade in your viewer points for dice, which affect our lives, and you can help us, or the DM if you're feeling sinister. But we would hope that you would help us.
We'll see.
Help the DM.
No!
I need all the help I can get. They outnumber me. It's like 5-1. It's not fair. But let's see. Since Kazuma is at the top of the list, we're going to start with you. What I'd like you to do is tell us a little bit about your character and kind of set the scene as to where you would be hanging out on a Thursday evening.
We're not at orientation.
No.
I thought we might be in orientation.
No,
Okay.
no. You guys have
Um,
actually been going to school for a bit.
Okay.
Oh no, I'm so
Library.
not prepared. I don't know where I would be. Where would the hoodlums be at?
Well, in Area 6, you would probably be kind of hanging out, just kind of protecting your neighborhood's border. Like,
Neighborhood
what?
6 is my neighborhood, right?
Yeah, well, part of it is. I mean, like the zone is actually quite large, quite a bit larger than any one gang is going to be able to hold down. I'm thinking that you
We'll see
pretty
about
much
that,
have like
DM.
a certain, like a 2 or 3 square block area surrounding the university, essentially.
Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, kind of give the audience a little bit into what makes your character tick. What does he do, and why does he do it?
Who is he?
Super lazy brawler. But has a really ridiculous borderline samurai code of honor. And just trying to protect my neighborhood and expand my turf. There was another guy who was kind of like my rival, and he died saving a kid that wandered into the road after a ball, and he got hit by a car, and I was like, oh, he showed me up one last time.
Jerk.
Like, how am I going to live up to that selfless sacrifice for the greater good? So now I'm basically just trying to be better than he was, because he ran things, and I tried my best to kind of contest him, and it didn't really work, because he would just beat me up a lot.
All right, so you're essentially trying to live up to a now dead person who died a hero. That's pretty rough.
Yeah.
And
I mean, of course, I'm at school because my older sister forces me to be here because she's not too keen on the lifestyle that I've chosen. And we lost both our parents in the industrial accident in the power plant district.
okay, and you have a place of business, do you not?
Yes, our family owns a sushi and ramen shop.
The Gigabyte.
And the whole point of me going to school is so that we can, live a better life that I probably would not be able to provide just working at the sushi and ramen shop the rest of my life.
Micah, that one for me, please.
All right. So what we're gonna do is, I think that we're gonna say it's about dinner time. And most of the students tend to either eat at the cafeteria on campus and things like that, but the quote unquote cooler kids tend to go off campus to go eat at the Gigabyte because it is quite cheap and plentiful, as one would expect. Um, so they do pretty well. They don't make much money though, just because they don't charge much. Um, and let's see, that brings us to Missy.
All right.
So,
Hi, I'm Missy, and I work. Well, I am in the entertainment business, and my company that is the entertainment company here. I'm sure that everybody knows who they are. They are our entertainment, and well, my hobbies are being like legit, and I love my coin, and I also love sleeping because I work so very much. She is booked to capacity, really. And actually, I do know Kazuma. Actually, I know his sister. I tattle on him a lot because that is also one of my favorite hobbies is tattling on Kazuma.
You're
and
so annoying.
and Naomi.
Naomi is going to spend a lot of her time in the there's a science center on
Indeed.
campus. When she's not tending to her car, she's normally hanging out around the science center. She's not so much of a nerd as much as she's trying to lean in on some scientific secrets that might enhance the engines that her family builds for the build your own car races in the city.
Okay. And that science center, let me find the Hawking Science Center,
Yeah, she's going to spend the majority of her time there.
which is located about here on the map at number 5. It is a pretty nice place. This particular university is well known for its business and science academies more than anything else, though it does have fine arts and things like that as well. And Kath, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh yeah, she's my number one fan. She's
So
always hanging around me.
as kind of stated earlier, Kath is basically if the Undercity had an Undercity, that's where she'd be from. She comes from absolute nothing and basically has had to fight for every single scrap of anything that she's ever had in her life. There is a family; they're not particularly close, and she's, as stated, kind of got into this here university through less than normal channels, shall we say. Don't want to spoil too much as this plays out. Right now it's late, so she's off the clock. She's actually wandered off campus over into the Leisureland sector. She's basically looking for the absolute seediest dive bar there is in the place, mostly to kind of shadow some of the snobbity upperclassmen who are going slumming, largely because one, they're a fantastic source of information, and two, see if she can pick up any work on the side.
All right. I will say that you have gone to a place that is literally called the Hole in the Wall because its entrance is a hole in the wall.
And it makes her feel absolutely at home. Because that's typically more structural integrity than she's used to.
Oh well. You're not just hanging around me for the fact that I usually go to places that are structurally sound, right? It's because you really love me, right? Right.
It's part of that, and part of the fact that she's working on the art track, and you just happen to be in all of the same classes.
Yeah, sure. You love me.
And finally, that brings us to Billy.
Probably in the library studying because this scholarship kid is not going to flunk out.
Right.
Sorry.
So, let's see. Who should I
Plus-
screw with first?
Plus the girls never notice me, and and I come from a very, very poor family, so yeah, books are my friend.
Yeah, it's understandable. The
Plus, they smell good.
the library on most nights stays open till like 11 p.m. or so. But like the librarian occasionally, not always, but occasionally will let you stay after. Just like lock up when you're done, kind of thing.
Good, good. Then I can go back to my desk and study some more.
It's like that poor kid. Um, so I am going to say that first of all, I should probably go into this because I realized that we did a session 0, but the audience did not. The way that things tend to work here is that if you are born in the downtown area, if you are, not considered one of the socially elite by birth, then most people end up in a life of toil or crime, um, either joining one of the various gangs or working at a company until they die, or there's a lot of different ways that you can choose your poison in regards to that. The universities promise a ticket out. However, much like a casino, what is promised versus what is delivered are two entirely separate things. The entry requirements just to get into the university are pretty extensive. Each of you have either found a way to pay for it, or someone else has paid for you, or some other arrangement has been made to get your tuition paid. But for several of you, at least, it's pretty much just hanging on a thread. If you are able to do well and graduate, then you have the potential to end up in a much better career track than you would be able to otherwise, possibly even finding your way to the upper city. So the university is a pretty big deal, but not a whole lot of people get into it. Like of the applicants, maybe 10% get in. The government is pretty kind of big brothery, though in the downtown area they don't tend to bother much. There are certain sections of town where you know that the police are particularly enforced, particularly in the center of town. Pretty much the closer you get to the center of the city, the more of a heavy authority type situation you will notice. Um, where you guys are at is kind of close to the center of town, but for the most part, you guys get left alone because it's a university. The university does have its own police force, and most of the time, like for minor crimes and stuff like that, they handle everything within the school. There isn't a whole lot of crime that gets done though, just because of the fact that these people basically, for a lot of them, it's the only chance that they're going to have to try to change their life. Because if you get kicked out of the university, that's it. You don't get a second chance unless you somehow manage to bribe the right people or something like that. Um, but I am going to say that also, so far as the setting goes, technology level, it runs the full gamut from medieval up to like 1980s and early 90s. Mobile phones are something that are carried mostly by the rich. However, pagers are extremely common. Um, and on that note, Marcy, Naomi receives a page as you are working in your shop.
Ooh. Who's the page from?
Whenever you check the number, you recognize it as being one of the local race organizers. And it just says, well, it doesn't say anything. It just has the phone number.
That's fair. I'm going to get myself to a payphone.
All right. You find your way to a payphone, and you're able to call back. And he says,
Do,
he says, we got a race that's going to be going at about 11:30 tonight, and we have a driver who's sick. I know you don't have your own ride yet, but the guy's willing to let you drive his vehicle if you're willing.
Oh, so I don't even have to steal one. Well, that's great.
No, it has keys and everything. It's great.
You don't have to hotwire.
But
I
it has
mean,
wheels, though, right?
Absolutely. What's the cut for this race?
Well, if you win, then you stand to make about $500.
500 no win.
Yes, I'll do it. Yes, please.
All right. So, you are left to prepare for your race.
I hang up the phone and then realize I didn't get any more information from him, and then we just call back.
Rita!
Very excited.
He says, were you just going to guess where he was going? He says it's going to actually be, the starting line is going to be at the intersection right across from the Gigabyte. And
The
it's pretty
Gigabyte
much,
is so centrally located.
it's going to be 3 laps around the entire campus.
And you said it was 11:30 at night.
Yep, 11:30. So you got like a couple hours. You got enough time to prepare and everything like that. The thing is with these races is they are very illegal, and usually what ends up happening is they will actually go through and mess with the stoplights to basically give greens for the entire length of the race. But that being said, those lights changing and stuff have a tendency to cause a lot of traffic accidents and things like that. Um, Usually there's no fatalities or anything, but injuries are very, very common.
This is probably fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
This is probably fine.
Meanwhile,
back at the motel.
back at the hole in the wall, Sterling.
Yo.
Kath is currently holding up a wall with her back and observing the goings on. And
It's a very fine wall.
and you notice that there is pretty much the usual type of crowd that you would expect. However, you do notice. Actually, roll me a perception check to see what you notice. Okay. Oh, and one other thing, we are using a set of rules for playing commoners. So all of these people, these poor people, while they're students, have straight 10s for their ability scores.
Yeah, so really saying what we are, like me saying I'm a bard, means nothing right now.
Yes, you have
Painfully
performance.
mundane.
So that being said, DCs and such are going to be fairly low. What you have picked up on, Kath, is that you have noticed that there are a small group of people here that are of a gang that is called the Days of Thunder. And they are a local street racing team. And you don't usually see them on this part of, like in this side of town. But they seem to be talking about a race that's going to be taking place that night.
Okay. So she is gonna. So are they like at the bar, at a table? What are they doing?
They're sitting at a table drinking a pitcher of beer.
Where in relationship to the bar is this? And is there anything else of any interest at all going on right now?
There's some people playing pool. There's a guy playing a arcade machine. It's like one of the ones that has like the gun, like the little light gun thing mounted to it. And he seems to be having a good day because he's actually playing with both guns. So, he's really spending some coinage in there. And they are approximately 8 feet from the bar. It's like the next table over, but there's quite a bit of empty space between the bar itself and the tables because they have noticed over the years that most fights seem to start at the bar, so they like to keep that area clear so they don't get their furniture broken.
So Kath is going to move from her perch on the wall over to the bar to get a little bit closer to this and see if she can pick up some info that may be of use to her later on.
Okay. What I would like from you is an investigation check. And go ahead and give me a stealth too. Just see how obvious you are about it if you're like sitting there cupping your ear. No, you are definitely not. Good lord. All right. So,
The horns are kind of a good distraction.
Kath, what you are told is, well, not what you are told, but what you hear them discussing is the fact that two of the cars have been sabotaged, and there are going to be some big bets being placed tonight because the odds have been skewed quite a bit. They're talking like they managed to basically buy off a couple of people's mechanics, and as a result of that, they were able to make sure that the cars will not either be able to finish the race or not be safe to drive.
Does Kath know a bookie?
As a matter of fact, you do.
She's gonna go find a payphone and give him a call.
All right. Also, with that investigation, you know that it is a gold car and a silver car and a green car that have been sabotaged.
Okay.
So you go and call your bookie, and whenever you bring up the races, he says, "I'm not taking that particular action because the whole thing sounds a little bit too hot for me, but I know a guy." He says, "If what you want to do is try to show up down there about a half hour early. He's going to be sitting at the Gigabyte. He's going to be wearing a big purple raincoat, and he's going to be taking bets there on the spot."
Now she would ask why it's sounding too hot, because if this is going to be something that's a little bit too nasty for her to walk into face first, she may want to hold off.
What you know is that the Days of Thunder, they are a very well-known race gang. They're also known for being dirty as hell and not really caring who gets hurt. There's a certain breed of racer that is, not going to say drive through a crowd of people that happens to be in their way or something. Whereas these guys tend to just put, bull bars on the front of their vehicle and hope that honking their horn is going to be enough.
So you're obligatory baddies from whatever Fast and the Furious movie.
Exactly. Think like the Cobra Kai of street racers.
Fair enough. So she's going to thank the bookie, tell him she'll get back to him on some other action later on, and then settle up with her tab and head on down to find a good spot for this here mayhem.
All
Tell
right.
them all goodbye.
It says goodbye, friend. No, it does not. You think that it might, and then you realize that the beer that you drank was Chernobyl brand, and you're a little bit concerned.
That's actually a good day for her.
Poor Cass.
Hey, Missy.
Yeah.
You happen to find yourself walking past, through campus, and you're walking past the library, and you notice there's a couple of no good nicks out front.
Does one of them look like Kazuma?
No.
Action.
One of them is wearing denim armor though, so he's into it. He's looking for trouble.
Right. Does it have any iron-on patches?
It does. It has one that looks like a skull with flames on it, and there's a snake, and it says Judas Priest rules, like in ink.
Right.
In big
Well,
letters. It looks like he just used like 3 pens to just scrawl it into his back.
Well, while I can appreciate the fact that, he's like the look overall, it's a little bit desperate, kind of. And although it is good that they're outside of a library, because that means that they're interested in books and junk. And that, I think that if the, delinquent youth of our generation are hanging out in front of libraries, well, that is an improvement.
And one of them is saying to the other, "I'm telling you, man, I saw him. He had money in his wallet, and he went in here. I don't know which floor he's on, but if we just watch the windows for a while, I'm sure we'll see him poke his head out somewhere. And they're just kind of like standing around in front of the building. You're not even
Okay.
100% certain that they are students here.
Yeah. Well, never mind. I take that back. They're not interested in literature. And so, I wonder who the poor sob is that's going to like be accosted by these fashionista people. Now, I could take a nap because I am really, really tired. But then this is free entertainment. I was going to go and get my pillow from Kazuma. What am I going to do now? Decisions! I don't like making decisions for myself. That's what my agent, that's their job. Maybe I should call her.
Roll me a perception check.
Perception check. Oh, nothing. I perceive whatever a 16 makes me perceive.
Okay. In fact, you perceive before they do. You're kind of standing a little bit further back, and they haven't really paid attention to you yet, which is probably a good thing.
That is annoying, actually. They should be aware of my presence. I mean, I have such a presence. Continue.
So you can see on the second floor of the library. Laura, could you describe Billy for me?
She is roughly about 5'4", and most people don't know that she's a girl because she's got short hair and she's very frumpy and has glasses and is always hugging books to her chest. So it's no surprise that these two morons think that she's a boy. She's actually about 16 or 17. She's like super advanced, but she looks like a prepubescent teenage boy. So.
Okay.
And a few seconds after you see her, one of them smacks the other one on the arm and says, "There, right there." And they kind of start moving around toward the side entrance of the library, which is currently still open.
Fellas, I just wanted to know because, like, I had itching for a ciggy.
You're robot now.
I said what I was saying was, fellas, actually, if I could ask you one sec, I'm itching for a ciggy. I'm quite desperate, really. So, if I could just, anyone got a light?
Go ahead and roll me a persuasion with advantage.
It's so weird. This is so low. Oh God, no! Sorry, Billy.
Got a 10.
Okay.
One of them, he kind of looks at you and he says, "You know, Spooky could kill you."
But that's half the fun, isn't it?
I mean, you should do what we do. We get spray paint in a bag. It's way better for you.
Spray you? How does that work?
We call it vaping.
Oh! I've never tried that. Like, is there like a specific like restaurant that you do that in, or is it like anything that you could do anywhere?
You can do it just about anywhere. I'll tell you what.
Really?
If you want to come with us, we're going to go beat up this kid and take his money, and then we're going to go do some. If you want to come with us.
Really?
Yeah, we probably won't be rough with you or anything.
With me? Oh. Well, how much time has passed since this interaction has happened?
Maybe like a minute.
Maybe like a minute. I'm thinking to myself, I wish she could run faster. Lord. Right. Well, I do have somewhere to be. I just was itching for a ciggy and thought y'all might have one, but you don't.
I think I saw the librarian spoken one earlier outside, but I don't know if they would give a match to a student. You are a student, right? You're not a teacher, are you?
Are you?
Sure.
Would you fib to a girl?
Yes.
Not my type, bye.
Just straight up like, duh, of course.
He's like, not my type, nah. He's like, I can lie to you, but you can't lie to me. You know? So I'm gonna walk kind of in front of them,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to walk very quickly. I'm like doing that like speed walk,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because because they're gonna, I just because, and I'm like, once I get to the door and I see Billy, I'm just like turn around. Is what I'm doing.
What? Missy? What are you saying? Looks at feet.
Right. So I'm gonna go like push the door open and go in. Is there like a lock, an old lock on this
Oh yeah, absolutely.
lock? I'm like, to them.
They kind of walk up and jiggle the door a bit, and one of them is just like pantomiming his disappointment. He's not even really angry. He's just like, really? Why are you doing this to me? We were going to rob this kid and then go vape. What do you want?
Sorry, I feel sorry for the underdog, and that is the underdog today.
I'm not under a dog.
That is not what I mean. Those guys, like, they were waiting to totally trash you.
Oh yeah, I see them around a lot. They usually take my money and then leave me alone, and then I don't eat for a week, but it's okay.
It is a very, very hard life, isn't it? It's like, what? Right. So eventually they'll get bored and want to go vandalize something or chew on a tire, and then we can leave.
Billy, you being the studious library type, happen to know that one of the emergency fire doors doesn't actually set off the alarm when you go out of it.
Well, if we go that way, looks at feet. There's an emergency door that lets us out.
Do you have a net problem?
No.
Because you're always looking down. Are you depressed?
No, I feel like looking someone in the eyes means I have to be more vulnerable than I already am at my size.
We're totally gonna have to work on your people skills.
Really? Because people don't like me. Books are my friends.
Oh, those pages look fluffy. I could just.
They smell good too.
Oh, they do. Oh, God. I wonder if those guys sniff books. Maybe.
I offered them, and they said it didn't smell like paint enough.
They probably would say that, actually. Anyway, this door, let us go around that way and see, because I don't know how long they're going to, stand out there before they get bored and decided to go chew on a tire or something.
Follow me then, and I will turn around and immediately start shuffling my feet like a penguin.
Okay. We're also going to have to work on your movement.
Why? This is supposed to be the best structural thing for the hips and the back.
Maybe, but you're going to live a very long and secluded life.
Oh, I was already told that when I was much, much younger by my pediatrician. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe.
Your pediatrician. You have a very small circle of friends, don't you?
No, when I started talking at about 1.5 years, I told him that I was worried about my hips, and he told me that this was the
A
best
year
way
and a
to
half, your main worry in life was not juice or I don't know, anything else. It was your hips.
Well, yes, because I wanted to make sure that I was structurally more sound than my grandmother who had osteoporosis.
You need to visit a Toys R Us before they go away.
I would like both of you to roll for me a stealth check as you make your escape.
Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe.
I'm not doing that.
Okay, you both make it. All
I
right.
did a sleight of hand, but it's a 0 anyway.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's the
You can
same.
pretty much roll a d20 for most of this stuff.
Yeah.
Heel
So
toe, heel toe, heel toe.
God.
you guys kind of just scamper around behind the building, and as you are moving away, and you just kind of cut across this like field of astroturf because grass doesn't actually grow here. It's quite nice astroturf, but it's still astroturf.
I
But
wonder how often they have to mow this.
Well, scientifically speaking, it actually doesn't grow.
Was
therefore it doesn't-
it that wasn't an actual question. That was
Well, I can't ever tell the difference between sarcasm and real words, so I can't tell the difference between rhetorical and real questions. All questions are my friends.
I thought books were your friends.
Yes, books are also my friends, but questions are also my friends because that means they need answered, which means that I get to spend time with them.
Yeah. Right. So we get away. Yes.
yeah, as you reach the sidewalk down the block, both of you are struck simultaneously by an almost crippling hunger pang.
Kazuma.
The scent of ramen wafts through the air, carried on the breeze.
Ooh, dehydrated noodles with too much sodium. Delicious.
Yeah. Follow me. Just like,
Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe.
I'm not doing that.
You don't have to, but my hips will thank me when I'm older. Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe.
They'll be the
heel-
only people talking to you. But they don't talk. What am I saying?
Ropez,
Yes.
you are chilling at the Gigabyte. You guys you did your patrol for the day, and you haven't really heard of anything going on as of yet. But as you arrive at the restaurant, you notice that there are a few unfamiliar faces. Um, if you'd like, you could roll either perception or investigation. Not that it really makes a difference, but you could roll either of those.
Oh, do we not have any of our proficiencies that we're supposed to have?
Only if you get one from a racial ability.
Yeah.
Okay. So you notice that there is a guy who is wearing a big purple raincoat. It's kind of plasticky looking, somewhat transparent, and underneath there's he's just got this kind of like almost like a leisure suit type thing going on, but it's just black, and he's got like a black shirt and a black tie that is almost completely invisible against all the other black. So it's kind of pointless to even wear a tie at that point, but somehow he's still going to that effort. But he's sitting there, and he's got a cold bowl of ramen sitting in front of him. Like he basically placed an order and hasn't eaten anything, and he's just like sitting there. And in the chair next to him, he has a actual cell phone, which in this case is like essentially a 15-pound almost like a backpack thing. It has like a shoulder strap, and the phone is actually mounted to it with the curly wire attached. Almost, it looks more like a World War II radio than a phone. But it's sitting in the chair across from him, and he's just kind of sitting there just watching stuff. And the other thing that you notice is that out front, there seem to be several people that are all kind of messing with their cars. Um, some of them, are looking under each other's hoods and stuff like that, and they're talking about their cars. Pretty fancy cars too. These particular cars are all of a similar style. Think like like a 1950s Cadillac, but with kind of like space agey, things sticking off of it, like little extra cylinders and uh, tubes and stuff. But they basically just look like some jacked up old cars. But they almost seem like they're having a car show out front. But the result is you're getting a lot of customers tonight.
Is my sister struggling keeping up?
Little bit. As soon as you come in, she just like throws a towel at you and says, "We need more bowls."
What's her name? I forgot.
Did we pick a name? Because if
I thought we
didn't,
did.
have one.
Okay.
Jeff, did we pick a name?
Just
I don't remember if you did or not.
Okay, let's go with Katarina.
Katarina. Okay.
Katarina.
Good. I approve.
Yeah. Give me a second. And I'll just like stomp back into the kitchen, like the swinging door. I like kick it.
She says, "Why don't you get your
Just
idiot
like-
friends back here too?"
You get your friends back here too. Why don't you hire more people to help you?
Because then I couldn't afford to put your ass through school.
Cause I'm gonna go to school. Cause I'm gonna help in the kitchen. And I'm just gonna like roll my sleeves up and go get elbow deep in the sink.
All right. Your sister goes about rage cooking. It's like a montage of just washing dishes and steaming pots and such. About that time, Sterling, you arrive, or Kath, I'm sorry, you arrived at the place.
So, Cat's gonna walk in, see, giant purple dinosaur bookie there.
Barney.
Yeah,
Please name him Barney.
that's what I was going for. Thank you. I'm gonna go to the stool on the other side of him that isn't being taken up by the backpack and order the absolute cheapest thing on the menu.
Sorry about that. I had to deal with dogs. So the absolute cheapest thing on the menu is a bowl of hot water, and that costs a penny.
She'll take it.
All right. There is complimentary salt and pepper.
So when the water arrives, she will take a little bit of the pepper, kind of sprinkle it in the bowl, swirl it around, immediately put it to the side, and talk to Barney about placing a little bet on the action that is about to ensue.
All right.
Hello, would you like to make a bet? I don't know.
Whenever you were outside, you saw that there was a total of 4 cars, and there was one of them that is red. And that was the only color that wasn't mentioned in the whole sabotage thing.
Okay, so she's going to put half of her bet, actually 2/3 of her bet on red and 1/3 on one of the other ones at random.
Okay. So let's see. Let's roll a d6. All right, so green.
Okay, and I realize I don't actually have any money in her sheet, so...
It's all good. I'm assuming that you guys... Oh, crap. I just realized I was hiding my rolls. I'm going to assume that you guys have $50 apiece.
Okay, so she'll make this a $10 bet.
Show GM rolls. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, you are able to place your bet, and the guy he kind of looks you over a bit, and he's like, "Have I seen you before?"
Probably.
He kind of gives you the hairy eyeball a little bit, but he turns his attention elsewhere after a moment.
Yeah, she just holds her ground because she's used to that look.
Right.
Barney is suspicious.
Indeed.
He's a transparent purple dinosaur. Who wouldn't be suspicious?
Give him a hug.
And the other thing that you really notice about this guy is he is quite tall, very lanky, but about 8 feet tall. Like he's just kind of sitting. His knees are almost touching his chest with his feet on the floor.
That's not entirely normal.
No, it's
Kind
She's
of,
gonna go, huh?
kind of.
Knock back the bowl of pepper water, walk out to find a good spot to watch the shenanigans go down.
All right. And about that time, we will say that Marcy arrives.
It's Naomi.
Wonderful. Yeah, it is.
Oh, Naomi, sorry.
No, it's okay.
I keep looking at the name on Zoom like a dummy.
Oh, do you want to change the name? See if I can do that.
Nah, it doesn't matter.
Naomi walks in. She's wearing a speed suit.
She's suited up.
Yeah, she's suited up.
Nice.
She's wearing a helmet, but it's more like a bicycle helmet.
It's super cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool one, and she's probably got a pair of goggles around her neck because she's that character in this show.
Nice. All right. So you walk onto the scene, and you see your friend standing near the gold car. He waves you over and says, "Hey, this is the car I'm talking about." And he pops the hood so you can take a look at it. And from what you can see, it looks real nice. Go ahead and roll me an investigation, though.
Okay, I will do that.
Let's see how you do.
And this is where Kath loses her bet.
I can't inspire you either.
It looks super good.
It is the best car ever.
This is the
Oh,
best car.
double click the like next to the skill. If you double click it, it'll roll it in the chat window because I don't see the roll.
Oh, okay. Let me
There'll
do
be a
this.
little dice.
You can either double click it or you can drag it over the chat window, but otherwise it
Yeah.
won't show.
I usually just double click.
I'm having a slight issue in which my character sheet has disappeared somewhere in different backgrounds.
Oh dear.
Well, you can always just click your picture on the top, and it'll.
Yeah, if you
it's
just
not
double
even
click it.
showing. It's not even showing that for me right now. I'm not even sure what's going on. It's actually stuck on the map.
Oh, minimize
There
the
we
map,
go.
maybe.
Got it. It was like
Yay.
stuck in the top of my screen.
Okay. Yeah,
see,
like where it says total, if you double click that, it'll roll.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
There you go.
There you go.
It's the
Bye.
best.
It's got wheels and
Intimidation, but
everything.
it's the same roll anyway. So everything looks pretty kosher to you. It looks like it has a pretty souped up engine. It's not the nicest car you've seen or even the nicest car that you've raced. But your family has a tendency to, I mean, when you participate in races like this, sometimes you get in an accident or something and it just totals the car. And that's kind of where your family's at right now, is you're kind of between cars. But this car is pretty good. Like I say, it's not the best thing you've ever raced, but it's not the worst either. But your friend, let's say let's call him Matrick. Oops. Might help if I actually type it in the chat window.
Parents couldn't spell matrix.
Matrick. He's really, really excited. He's like, this is a real good opportunity for you. He's like, you're going to be racing against the Days of Thunder. It's like, that's a big deal.
The Days of Thunder from down under.
I think Jerry's probably the only one that gets what I'm referencing, and it's funny.
Like the movie Days of Thunder?
Exactly.
Yeah, greatest movie of all time.
Damn right.
You say
So
they're
cheesy.
really dirty, but I mean, with thunder comes rain. So
But
I'm scared, but I'm scared of the water.
how many phobias and orcs do you have?
Well, I'm afraid of the water, but my allergy list is much more extensive.
Oh god, you're not allergic.
are balloon animals on there?
I don't know. What are balloon animals?
She thinks to herself, this person has clearly lived in a vacuum all their lives. And if it's not on the allergy list, it's probably on the phobia list.
Welcome to being raised by a Jewish mother.
Okay. I for one, in the Church of Bob Ross. You know, happy little tree to you.
No.
No. Okay.
No, I'm
auntie.
I'm
You
not
guys make it to
familiar.
the restaurant. At this point, the party has pretty much gathered. You guys, you see Naomi out front. She's like looking inside of one of these fancy cars that's parked there.
I have to go.
We have biology together, don't we? Professor Kier? Yeah, I think we do. Don't we?
You do.
Yeah, we do. The overlord of the universe says we.
Yes, the renowned Dr. Kier, well, Professor Kier. He's not really renowned. He's kind of a schlub. But
Yeah.
He's a pretty good teacher.
Debatable. Kazuma, where's my pillow? I know I left it here. Kazuma?
Missy, I'm busy working.
You hid it, didn't you?
Why would I hide your stupid pillow?
Because it is plush and lush and great.
So nothing I would touch.
There it is. It smells like you.
Oh my God, Laura, you're
Well,
killing
what
me
do
with
I
the hair.
smell like?
I would like to find a corner now, please. That'd be okay, great. Thanks.
Well, this place is like really, 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 really small. There's like, is there a corner?
Yeah, they're everywhere outside.
Wrong type of corner. Oh, look, a table in the corner. Here's my money. Just order me something. Except I'm allergic to shellfish. Bye. Heel toe.
Right, Kaz. If you could, what's Barney the dinosaur doing in here? Do you know that? Guy in the purple thing, is he from around here?
I don't know. Looks shady. Hasn't even touched Katarina's soup.
Like, his knees are like at his chest. That is not a normal anatomy. Like, I mean, I only say that, but maybe it is. Maybe Professor Kier is not teaching us properly.
That's not average.
Oh, all right. Well, my new acquaintance says that's not average.
Oh, I thought we were friends. I guess I still don't.
It's a work in progress.
I guess I still don't have a real one.
You always brought the weirdest pets home, Missy.
I just came to get my pillow and say hi to Katarina. And there's also a lot of cars outside happening. Is there like an event that I don't know about?
Yeah, looks like maybe some kind of race. Those losers from the Days of Thunder are out there.
Like, I don't know, but I like met some guys out in front of the library, and I thought for our generation, because you know, if they're outside the library, then you know that's a good thing, right? But they weren't actually interested in the library. They just wanted to hurt the person over there. I think their name's Belly, in the corner, and they were wearing like this denim get up, and they had patches. One was like a Judas Priest, and they like huffing spray paint.
Does that mean anything to me, Jeff?
Yes, it is a very small, barely perceptible on the radar gang known as the Canatucks.
The Canatucks?
The Canatucks.
On my turf? And I'm like...
Well, it was more like they were outside of the library on that your turf? I forget where it begins and ends, you territorial fool.
Well, that's because it's so big.
Priorities.
We aren't talking about illegal activities, are we?
I don't know. Is robbing you and huffing paint illegal? I suppose it is kind of. Well, I don't know. I suppose robbing you part is illegal.
Jeff, I have memorized everything to do with the local law book per my background. Is it illegal?
I think he said he had to go AFK for a second.
Okay, but yes.
The prisoners are now in charge of the prison.
Yes! No.
Uh,
That was
hold
just
on a
something that came.
second.
Wow.
These guys are bullying you?
Well, that seemed to be their intent.
Everyone bullies me. It's nothing new. Even my parents bullied me.
That is sad. That is
Wow.
sad.
That's rough.
That is really, really.
You're really big and scary. He's big and scary.
Kazuma?
Yeah.
No, I mean, how can you be afraid of this guy? He's got like pink dishwashing gloves on.
Because I'm scary, Missy.
I'm allergic to dish detergent.
That's going on the list. Dish detergent.
All right.
I'm allergic to dish detergent too. That's why I don't wash dishes.
Oh, I thought it was just because you were spoiled and lazy. I misunderstood.
I am very busy. I am built to capacity. Before turning in my paper today to Professor Kier, I had to go to Spatula City for their grand opening. I get barely any sleep. My company works me like overdrive. I am a very sincere individual, and I would love some sleep, which is why I'm getting my pillow and I'm going to have a quick little nap. 10 minutes.
Hello, big scary guy in the pink gloves. Can I just get something that doesn't have shellfish? Because I'm allergic.
Oh,
Here's-
yeah.
Here's my money. Don't hurt me.
You already gave me your money once.
Oh.
Do you just give people money like that?
If I don't, they beat me up.
Not anymore, little dude.
Debt. Do debt.
Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, not anymore. Wait,
You still a girl.
and they're beating up a girl?
They don't know, I don't think.
Fire of 1,000 suns on Kazuma's face.
Meanwhile, out front, Naomi, I won't even make you roll for it. You notice that there is a police cruiser kind of just rolling through on what would seem to be a normal patrol if it wasn't for the fact that they don't tend to patrol in this area. Like, generally speaking, campus security would respond most likely in this area unless there was like an emergency call or something. Like, you've never really seen cops rolling through here.
Well, it's probably never been a better day that this isn't my car. I'm gonna head on inside when I see that cruiser.
Okay.
You seem like Missy
subtly just slip in.
Sleeping like on the counter.
Katarina would probably drag you into a closet or something just so that you're not taking up valuable counter space. They're crowded.
Uni, don't move me.
I'm gonna duck under the counter.
But Kath and Bropez, both of you notice this police cruiser just kind of pull up out front, and the police officer steps out of it, and he starts approaching one of the Days of Thunder guy who's like literally standing there holding his racing helmet and stuff. Like, what do you mean I look like I'm about to do a race?
Does Kath recognize him given her less than savory nature?
This particular police officer, no. He is not campus security, and it's kind of abnormal that city police would be in this area.
What's the fuzz doing out here?
He is alone?
He seems to be alone.
They smelt your body odor. Felt like they needed to do something about it.
Missy, I do not stink. You stink. I can't even breathe because all the hairspray when you come around.
There's a wonderful invention called deodorant. If you think you stink, but only if you think you stink, don't hit me. I'm hiding under the counter still.
Do you want me to protect you from the bullies or not?
I do, but Naomi's over there and she doesn't know I exist. Looks at feet.
The fellow in the purple coat, he kind of looks over to you, Kazuma, and he says, "I'll be right back," and points at his bowl as in like, don't toss this out yet, even though he still hasn't touched it.
Are you gonna eat it?
He says, "I paid for it. I can do what I want with it, right?"
I guess.
But he stands up and kind of stoops to go through the door, and his legs are very spindly. Like everything about him just, like whatever he takes a step forward, the step seems almost a little bit too long. It's very odd watching him move. But
like Octodad? Is he actually Octodad? I need to know for science.
Kinda.
I was going to go with the.
Do you think that he's a stilt walker?
I was going to go with the guy that what his name played in the first Men in Black movie.
See, y'all are better than me. I was just gonna go with Jack Skellington.
Yeah, well, I was wondering, it's like maybe it's a short person, like on stealth.
No, just a space cockroach wearing another guy's skin.
Okay.
But he steps over and he approaches the police officer in this Days of Thunder guy. And he just seems to be conversing with them. You guys are not in a position where you can hear what's going on unless you want to approach closer.
No,
we're all just like leaning up because just like
they seem to just be having an interaction for
definitely
the moment.
leaning up and trying to listen against the door.
Sorry, go ahead. I'm still hiding under the counter, hugging a stool, going, "What are they saying?"
Kath is outwardly paying no attention to this interaction at all. She's just sitting there with her little sketch pad working on something.
I'm gonna like squat down in front of Billy and be like, "You said the Canatucks bully you?"
Uh-huh. And my parents and anyone who's bigger than me.
Well, I'm not gonna beat up your mom and dad, but where do the Canatucks normally catch you?
If you do, can I watch?
If you can pencil me into your busy schedule.
Well, it's finally good that somebody recognizes that she is booked.
I don't understand her question, but in to answer yours, the library.
That's like the center of my turf.
Your turf seems to fluctuate.
Missy, how many times do I have to tell you? Gang wars are very complicated.
Very complicated indeed.
You're a member of a gang, but those are illegal.
He thinks he is. He's more of like a vigilante. Like a justice warrior. Only
like Batman.
Kind of, but he doesn't care if it's outside of his territory.
Katarina kind of walks behind Kazuma and just slaps him in the back of the head and says it'd be a lot less complicated if you guys would just like whip them out and measure them and get it done with instead of trying to beat each other up with bicycle chains.
What does she mean whip them?
Uni is like so forward and frank and super cool.
Yeah, cool. That's how I would describe her.
If that's what you do, I don't want to be there. I can skip that day. I have a note.
You guys could get a ruler and just have a peace summit.
I would be like, the only thing I'm whipping out is this, and I would reach behind the counter and pull out my baseball bat.
Oh, it's just a bat. Okay, I feel better.
As you do that, the police officer turns and looks through the window directly at you. But the guy with the purple coat on, he just kind of takes a finger and just kind of puts it against the officer's face and turns him back to face him and just keeps talking to him. And after a moment, the officer turns and walks kind of behind your building. And the guy in the purple coat walks after a few seconds later.
That is odd.
What you guys gonna do?
You think they're in love?
I wanna
That
take
100%
the
looks
trash
like
out
love
the
to
back
me.
door.
There's nothing wrong with being gay.
No, was it a male officer? I didn't know. It's like whatever.
It was a male officer. He looked to be like a dwarf, maybe. Like he was about half the size of the tall guy.
And he was eyeballing me.
Yeah, the cop looked
For a
directly
second.
at you whenever you brandished the bat, and the guy was just like, "No, look at me."
You have
I wanna
perfect
take
timing.
the trash out the back door.
Okay. As you do so, roll me a perception check. Okay. Kind of around the corner in the alley right next to your building, you hear it sounds almost like somebody just voraciously eating a bowl of really sloppy ramen.
Ew. Oh.
That's weird. I will search for the source of the noise.
Okay. You peek around the corner, and what you see is that the man in the purple coat is no longer wearing his hat and no longer seems to be a man. It seems to be some sort of bipedal insect, reminiscent
Jeez,
of a mantis or a grasshopper.
Ah.
Let me find an image right quick. Oh,
I'm good.
really?
I
It's
need
not
an
in there?
adult.
Why isn't that in there?
Supervision.
It's just being a jerk now. I was trying to bring up a picture of Thrycreen, but it's not in my list for some reason. I'm not sure what I did to break it. Anyway, looks like a Thrycreen. Still in the purple coat, but he is currently chewing on that officer's head. And roll me a stealth check, see if he notices you.
Oh my god. Oh my god!
Okay, so my thought is that you're carrying this trash that you were getting ready to dump in the dumpster, and as you poked your head around,
Drop
you're
it
like,
and
holy
scream.
crap. And yeah, you just drop it. And as soon as that happens, he just immediately like drops the body and just kind of looks at you, and his mandibles just kind of start clicking together very rapidly, and then it's almost as though he remembers himself, and he just kind of reaches down and picks up his hat and puts it on, and as he does so, his face becomes human once more, and he says,
Why does this thing kind of remind me of Mr. Blue?
he says, I know that you want to scream and go get help, but hear me out. I have a lot of money, and I'm willing to give some of it to you if you just pretend that this never happened.
Sure, Mr. Creepy Bug Guy. I'm no friend of the cops anyway. Just keep your money, and I will forget everything that I just saw, hopefully, because it's terrifying.
He says, good. Good, you're a smart boy. He says,
I go to college.
I'll just get rid of this. Don't throw my ramen away. I'll be back for it. And he just starts dragging the dwarf, through the back alley.
Don't fill up on too much dwarf brain. And I will run back inside.
Okay.
Well, that took forever. Were you going to throw yourself in the bin?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
I'm not deflecting from a question like you are.
Look at those cool cars outside. Let's go look at those. And I'll go outside.
What?
Deflected. A psychological technique used to not answer a question directly.
I know, that's why I said it.
I'm sorry. Sometimes when I get nervous, I spout definitions.
Eat this. There's no shellfish in it, I think.
Could you hand it down here?
Sure. Puts it under the counter.
It's just that Naomi's over there and she doesn't know I exist.
Naomi!
No!
Huh? What? What?
Do you not know that this person exists?
What
down
person?
there.
What person? Down
That
there? There's
that person down there.
What? I'm gonna lean over the counter.
I think we have biology.
I've never met this person before in my life.
Well, they exist, and they're in our class.
Oh, all right. I believe it. You go outside and look at the cars?
I guess it's Kazuma ran out there. I guess I will, and to get to the bottom of what he is clearly deflecting.
Deflecting a technique used not to.
Yes.
Because the way I see it, there might be, there's no cop out there anymore. He went away, so.
Yeah.
You know,
Dad, thank you.
I was going to hold off on handing out inspiration until somebody really stepped above and beyond, but I'm just giving it to everybody because you guys are being great. I love those.
Like, oh, don't be so pathetic. I drag Billy. Just like,
Okay, not so fast. Heel toe.
You're not gonna get motion sickness.
Heel toe.
So, as you go outside, Kath, what are you doing?
So she's going to wait a reasonable amount of time and pretend to be finishing her sketch. Then she will put the sketch pad back in her pack, walk out, and start making small talk with the Days of Thunder guys.
Okay. The Days of Thunder guys, they're pretty aggressive. I mean, they're not like, just out and out mean, but they're very like aggressive. Like, I drink a lot of Red Bull and I like to just rage all the time. That kind of thing. But
Yeah, he mostly just stands there and lets them, spout off with
Surge's life.
Exactly. A lot of no fear T-shirts. Maybe a big dog or two.
Your usual case of testosterone poisoning.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, rips off a piece of bubble tape. Good for you.
After you guys are looking at the cars and stuff, and the Days of Thunder guys are talking about how they're just going to absolutely destroy the competition in this race, and they're just hyping each other up. It's quite beautiful to behold, really. But after a few moments, the guy in the purple coat returns, and he walks directly over to Naomi. And he just kind of looks down at you, and he says, "So you're our substitute driver for the night?"
Oh, yeah, I'm driving whatever it is. I'm going to look. Does the car have a name on it?
Yeah, let's call it a Falcone.
Yeah, I'm driving your Falcone for you.
Fantastic.
I grab Naomi and say, wait, you know Barney?
Wait, are we talking to the dinosaur or the
No, well the Barney is the cockroach thing, but it's like, you know Barney?
Yeah, this is Matrick.
Yeah, Matrick is a different person. This guy is the one that seems to be organizing this actual race, but Matrick is basically your contact.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why I was like, you know Barney?
Sorry, I thought they were the same person for a second.
No, it's okay. But Matrick is just a human guy. He's pretty average. He's a fair bit older than the rest of you. He's like
legs.
Yeah, he's like mid-40s. The way that you know him is that he used to be a driver for your dad. Whenever your dad kind of first started this whole thing, he was the driver for him, but then he suffered an injury and he's no longer able to drive or anything. So now he pretty much just serves as a fixer for, helping to facilitate these races.
Yeah.
It's something that's been going on for quite a few years, probably about 30 years. But he says, well, I wish you the greatest of luck. And
yeah, thank you. Put her there.
He shakes your hand, and as he does so, his hand feels kind of weird to you. Not exactly what you would expect, almost waxy. But it doesn't actually leave anything on your hand, but it kind of feels like it does for a second. I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like, oh, I gotta wipe my hand off. Your hand was sweaty or something, but it's just waxy.
I'm gonna brush it off and just keep a big grin on my face.
It's like you'll do anything to get instead of much you.
And
Yeah.
he moves
But
over
it's
to
a
the.
super nice car, right?
It's shiny.
He moves over to one of the Days of Thunder guys and starts talking to him. And after a moment, the guy walks over to the police car, and he reaches in and removes the radio entirely, and then just kind of puts it in gear, and they start pushing it kind of out of the way of where the race is going to be, just push it off to park it next to the curb.
Why'd they remove the radio? Is that like a normal thing? No, the radio is really that heavy.
Why are they moving the car? Where the heck's the officer?
Huh? Cosma!
Yeah?
Yeah. What? Like, did you see them take the radio out of the car and they're moving it and all that?
No, nope, I didn't see anything.
But you were looking right at it with us. I watched you do it.
Billy G, you need a new bully.
No, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Just deflecting. Again.
Deflecting.
What? Katerina, you need me in the kitchen? Okay.
Grabs. No. You're staying right here. Naomi, like, you don't think that's weird at all? Like, do you really think that, like, this whole race thing is, like, legit?
Well, normally the police aren't around for one of these things, so it might actually be legit this time.
This time?
Oh yeah, they're normally very illegal.
A problem for this race.
Cosma, how often does this sort of event occur?
I mean, only when I let the Days of Thunder come around on my turf.
Only when you let the Days of Thunder. God, you make me ill sometimes. Okay, all right. I have. All right. Everything is A-okay around here. Nothing to worry about. Nothing. Wait. Y'all don't buy it either, do you?
No, absolutely not. Not for a second.
Okay.
Whatever Cosima says is true.
I'm gonna.
You're going to have a very, very strange life if you take what he says as truth.
I'm gonna put a hand.
I don't need another bully.
I'm gonna put a hand on Missy's shoulder, and I'm gonna be like, if I win this race, I'm gonna make 500.
Nolan?
Yes.
Well.
So I don't really care about asking too many questions right now.
I can see why you wouldn't necessarily. That is. Yeah.
It's a good chunk of money.
Taking medication for a headache is better than rubbing your temples, according to several doctors. Never mind, you're giving me that look, and I don't need another bully. Bullies are bad. Books are friends.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. What do I care? The entertainment company doesn't know where I am. Proceed, world.
All right. Kazuma has to AFK for a minute, so pretty much what's going on at this point is it's about 20 minutes before race time, and they've started lining up the cars on the road, and everything's going pretty good with it. There's a pretty good crowd that's starting to gather. There is a few murmurs in the crowd about the cop never coming back to his car, but for the most part, people seem more excited about the race.
I would be normally inquisitive about that, but Kazuma threatened me, so I'm just gonna leave it alone.
The guy in the purple coat, he's just, you see him kind of standing in the back of the crowd for a while, and then after a while you're not quite sure where he went.
Missy's holding her pillow under her chin, like trying to stay awake and watch whatever's happening happen.
Billy will sit down beside Missy and tuck her books under her chin.
It's cooler when I do it.
I'm not trying to be cool.
Kath's gonna mingle with the crowd, and but always kind of slightly on the move. Always trying to keep a couple of different sight lines open on the group.
Okay. Yeah. You are able to do so with relative ease. It's not like an overly aggressive crowd or anything. It seems just mostly be normal folks. A lot of students from the university, as you might imagine, because where you guys are at, if you look at the campus map, where you are starting at is, kind of draw a square on it. Maybe I should change my dice color because that's not really showing up that well. We'll go with a bright ass green.
Like, where's the restaurant? Like, because it's kind of where we are.
See, it has the little fork and spoon. So
Uh,
there's just kind of like a little parking lot out front, and there's the road is right there, and the actual starting line is at this intersection, right? Yeah. So that's the starting line.
I'm not seeing it. Where am I?
It's at about 3 o'clock on this.
Over here.
Here we go. Yeah.
But the race course, as Naomi knows it, involves basically following the street up and then cutting around and going all the way around the campus. So all the way up and down and back. And they're supposed to do 3 laps of it.
3 whole laps.
Mm-hmm. All told, it's probably about maybe 4 miles. But race time approaches, and Matrix says, go ahead and get in your car and get buckled in and ready to go. We're going to be starting this here in about 5 minutes or so. Is anybody going to do anything before the race begins?
I want to have my bat.
Okay.
I think Missy will like do her hair because she's like, yeah, I don't know if it's bad for me to be here or not because of our entertainment. So she'll like do something with her hair, kind of be like, I am not Missy. Just like,
Okay.
I am not famous at all.
Billy will recite the laws that are being broken under her breath, paragraph and verse.
Actually, give me one of those books. I'm gonna put them on my head.
The,
She just like opens the book and she like puts the book on her head, kind of like this. Like
the worst law being broken, as far as you could tell, was actually them moving the police car. Because they moved it far enough for it to constitute theft.
No, leave my books alone.
But I need it right now.
No, the
It
hairspray
smells nice.
The hairspray will ruin the pages.
Well, then I'll do the cover to the thing so that it doesn't harm the pages.
And now you just look like it's about to rain.
I know, but pray that nobody notices me.
I'm just wondering if it's a customary thing to take the car around the block to get a feel for it.
Yes, this would be pretty much your opportunity to do so if you wish.
I'm gonna get a feel for the car.
Yeah. As you're going along, I would like for you to roll me an intelligence check. or investigation or perception. Well, yeah, any of those really.
Okay.
Okay. So as you are going along, you notice that the timing on the cylinders and stuff, you can feel it's absolutely perfect. The gear changes are good and everything like that. You notice that there's a bit of play in the steering, but it's not something that you would really expect from the Falcone. And as you're going along, you kind of start steering back and forth. Just kind of testing it out. And about like the 10th, 11th time that you do that, the steering wheel just comes loose in your hands.
Oh, those guys.
Roll me a dex check as you try to get the wheel to re-engage before you go smashing into stuff. Yes, absolutely.
Sweet.
Nice. Okay. So you pretty much slam the wheel back into place and just kind of turn and push it until it locks in enough that you're able to kind of bring the car to a stop. But it doesn't. You're not going to be able to get much steering out of the thing. It's like the entire steering wheel came loose and like the actual power steering system failed completely.
So I'm gonna do a dumb thing now, because like I don't have the tools on me probably to fix this steering wheel in time for the race. So I'm gonna steal a cop car.
Okay. Well, you happen to know where one is at.
I do. Go figure. So yeah, I'm gonna hop out and run to the other parked vehicle.
Okay. You pretty much managed to get the car like mostly out of the road. It's not exactly a perfect parallel parking job. It's kind of parked on the sidewalk a little bit and probably like 3 inches from a building, but you managed to bring it to a stop without crashing. And the cop car is completely unlocked. If you would like, go ahead and roll me a sleight of hand, see if you can hotwire that thing.
Will do.
Because the keys are not in it.
I'm gonna. Can I use my point of inspiration to re-roll that, or do
Absolutely can.
I'm gonna do that.
Yay!
There you go. All right, you fire it up, and as soon as you do, like the lights are on, but you're able to flip them back off before you draw too much attention. But all of you notice the cop car down the block kind of light up.
The buzz.
But you have enough time to pull it into the start line.
Yep, doing that.
I'm literally under my breath going, is Naomi literally breaking the law? But it's Naomi, but she's breaking the law. Maybe the law can be broken. Hold on, I have to do some research.
If Naomi can do it, anyone can.
So the crowd's kind of looking at Naomi oddly because they saw her drive away in this gold car and then come back with a cop car.
Well, they're looking at her, then they're not looking at me, which I'm kind of miffed about, but it's kind of a good thing because, yeah.
And one of the Days of Thunder guys, he steps away from his own car and starts yelling. He's like, "Where are you at, Albert? I know you're around here somewhere, you stick-figure looking son of a..." And the guy in the purple coat just kind of, he doesn't really materialize. It's like he was there all along, but you just happened to notice him. He's got kind of a Slender Man thing going.
Yeah.
But but he steps over to the Days of Thunder guy, and the guy says, "Look at this bullshit. This girl is trying to drive a stolen freaking cop car, and this is supposed to be a stock race." And he walks over to the police car, and
I'm already rolling down the window, and I'm like, "Yo, Barney, check out this new car I got just now."
He says, he crouches down real low and just kind of almost sticks his head in the window. And,
see, Billy, now this is creepy.
He's got very pale features, but it's almost not painful to look at him. It's just weird. It's very unsettling to look directly at him for too long. But whenever he like speaks, You can actually smell blood on his breath.
Good.
And he says, "Is there a particular reason why you aren't driving the car that you were provided with?"
Oh, it stopped working.
I see. Improvisation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'll talk about your willfully ignoring of personal space in a little bit. We've got like a minute before this race starts.
He just kind of pats aside the car and grins at you and says, "I like it. I like it." And he turns and looks at the Days of Thunder guy and says, "She's racing." And the guy like starts to protest, and the dude just like kind of looks at him a little bit longer, and the guy just shrinks a little bit and goes back over to his car.
See, Billy? Creepy.
Close that door.
But as the race is about to begin, what I would like from you, Naomi, I'm gonna set you up later with your proficiency in lane vehicles, but for now you're proficient in sleight of hand, so we'll use that. I would like a total of 3 rolls from you. 1 for each lap.
Okie dokie. I'm gonna use lucky on that.
Good call.
Hey.
Nice.
The second lap.
Ooh.
Use lucky on that one too.
Mm-hmm. Good
Nice.
choice.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So the way I'm
Magic.
gonna do this is I'm basically going to have the highest skill in the group against you make their rolls to see how they compare, and that's going to be the number 2 position.
Oh,
it's close. Okay, so the red car from the Days of Thunder. First thing, like as you guys begin to race, you're the only thing on the road. And as you're going along, the stoplights literally like turn green, and you can see like these little, mostly kids, also a few goblins, mostly like small races because they have the little small hands. They could reach up into the circuitry of the stoplights, but they're basically forcing the stoplights to go green as you guys are approaching. And as the race is going along, you notice that by like those of you who are watching the race from the outside, you notice that by the end of the first lap, there's only 3 cars racing. And then by the end of the second lap, there's only 2 cars racing. You didn't see what happened to either of the other cars, but actually, roll me perception.
Perception. I perceive 8. I think there's one fewer than before.
Well, Kath would definitely perceive, like, you heard at some point in the distance, you heard the squealing of brakes and the smashing of metal to metal. Like, it sounded like one of the cars had an accident. But as it comes down to the third lap, Naomi... I was looking at the rolls again. Yeah. Naomi manages to cinch the win in the third lap, coming just ahead of the Days of Thunder guy. And as the race comes to an end, the Days of Thunder guy is going to try to take a swipe at you with his car as he drives away in a rage.
Yeah, I ruined also a lot of bets. So
yeah, I'm just like clenching my pillow. I'm like,
So as he goes to do that, what I assume the crowd is still cheering and screaming and all of that.
Yeah.
So what Kath is going to do is she's going to cheer along with him and use her message cantrip to send that scream and cheering directly into the Days of Thunder guy's brain.
Oh, okay.
Just to try to distract him.
I'll tell you what, I'll give him disadvantage on his roll.
Do we have any spells or anything like that?
He has his racial thing. Okay, so
right.
Los was 13. Naomi, roll me one more sleight of hand check, because he's just trying to like sideswipe the cards you're in as he goes by. You got one more lucky. You want to use it?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it.
All right.
Be better.
Do it.
Hey,
Okay.
matched him.
All right. So you trade some paint, but he's veers like he just keeps driving, and you manage to veer out of the way, and you can just hear him cursing in the distance, and the car kind of swerves a bit. And the other Days of Thunder guys are immediately just calling, that you're a cheater and that this is bullshit and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah.
racers still haven't turned up yet. That's cool. Yeah, it's no problem. Um, we'll only be continuing for a little bit after that anyway, so that's all good. But yeah, you come in for the win, and people are cheering. At least some of them are. Some of them look very, very unhappy. Not really with you, but with our friend Albert.
Yeah, for letting me drive this car. I can't imagine I want to stay here long, so I'm gonna pull up next to these guys and lean out the window and be like, "Y'all want to ride?"
I run faster than anyone has ever seen Billy move and jump into the passenger seat.
As much as I would love that, I'm probably just gonna wait for my company ride.
But Missy, if you ride in this thing, it'll mess up your hair and nobody will know it's you.
You have a point.
And,
yeah, okay, whatever.
You see Matrick in the background. He's kind of giving you a thumbs up, and he's holding up an envelope.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like, "I'll get that later."
Yeah,
and he's probably the happiest of all because he made so much money on everybody's bets going through. So this works out really well for him. Yeah, I'll be like, "I'll call you."
Okay.
To get it. I don't want to stick around right now because I have pissed off a lot of people today.
Yeah, good plan.
You didn't piss me off.
Oh no, I pissed off them, and I'm just gonna point at like all these people like with spiked chains who are like pumping them out.
Tough crowd.
I'll fight you.
Don't say that. Of all the times to get his spine,
you look really, really fierce under all books.
Gotta turn on the light. I'm becoming.
They find the nearest locker and stuff Billy in.
I like crouch out of the back seat, like.
What about Kath and Kazuma? Are you going to ride along, or are you going to?
Well, Kazuma is at home, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Did they actually offer a ride to Kath? Because there wasn't too much interaction between them.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
I mean, if they roll up and say, "Hey, you want to ride?" It's like, yeah, okay. I mean, show's over. Let's see where this takes her.
Aren't you my number one fan? You're always hanging around me.
I'm in 3 of your art classes.
I know. Coincidence? I don't think so.
You didn't tell me you had fans.
I forgot you live in a vacuum. I used to be in a girl group called 3G, even though there were 4 of us. And I went solo. You really need to get out more.
I suppose you won't be surprised if I tell you I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's very apparent to me.
Okay.
Kath kind of looks at her and says, "Don't worry, nobody else does. Just play along."
What?
Yeah, you heard me.
You are the worst president of my fan club ever.
How convenient I don't have the job then.
You know what? You could easily be replaced, But I don't really feel like talking about that now. Drive!
Vroom, vroom.
So, are you guys going to just head for home and go to sleep? Because it is pretty late, and you do have classes in the morning. Or are you going to go someplace else?
I really have to go home because,
While I could do this all night, I should go to sleep for optimum studying.
Yeah, probably that thing. I'm gonna drop y'all off at your houses, and then I'm gonna find a place to put this car and leave a note on it.
Very, very sorry.
Yeah, very, very
To
sorry.
whom it may concern.
And then like a sticky note over the scraped paint from where the guy sideswiped me that says like I owe you.
All right, I'll say you find like a nice blind alley you can just kind of pull it into. It'll take them, probably hours before anybody reports it or anything.
Yeah, I think I got my joyriding out already, and I'm just like I'm a little worried about leaving it where it was.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'll drop a dime in the morning or something.
Okay. So,
Come here.
the rest of you have made it home.
I have to get off, Jeff, but
Okay.
the nephew wanted to say hi. Say hi, Xander.
Hi.
Hello.
Bye
Oh my
bye.
goodness.
Bye bye.
Bye, Xander.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for playing.
Yep. See you next week.
Alrighty. And then there were 3.
So Billy goes to sleep.
Well, 4 actually. Sterling's here too.
Naomi, as you're
I have
walking
always
home,
been here.
Yeah.
as you're walking home, Naomi. Actually, where do you sleep at? Do you have like campus housing? Do you?
My family is in the city, so I probably just go home at night, and like a lot of my brothers are moved out, but I still have like 2 younger brothers, and one of them's like 6 and the other one's like 12 and finally understanding what sarcasm is, and it's beautiful. And there I just like go in and try not to wake them up.
Okay. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check.
Hi, all of my luck's run out.
Well spent though.
7.
All right. So as you're going in and you step in through the garage section where the actual like the forks are for the lifting cars and stuff, and you're creeping through there and heading for the steps that leads up to the living area, and you hear like a match strike, and you see a cigarette ignite, and you realize that your father's sitting in one of the cars. He just has like the door open, but he's reached up and turned off the light, and he's just sitting there waiting for you as you come in.
Oh man, I smell like racing.
You smell like 500 no-win.
He
Smells
also
like
smell
victory.
like 500 no in. Oh, hey, Dad. Just gonna go to bed now.
says, how'd your studying go?
Really well. It was very productive.
Let me ask you something. Whenever you were at the library, did you meet a guy named Albert?
Yeah, why?
You want to be real careful about him. He ain't been right for the past couple years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it didn't seem good.
Lots of
You know what I was
people
doing,
disappearing and stuff whenever they're around him too much.
You know what I was doing, don't you?
Of course I do.
Yeah, all right.
I'm not going to say anything about it one way or the other. You make the decisions that you make. But just be real careful, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you're going to owe these people money.
Oh yeah, it's kind of the opposite. Right
Yeah.
now.
Because they'll make your life an absolute hell.
Yeah, I noticed that could be the case. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm
All
really
right.
tired.
He climbs up out of the seat and gives you a hug. And something
I
that
smell like racing, and he smells like cigarettes, and he told me he would quit.
as soon as you quit racing. But
No.
he is actually missing on his left hand. He's missing his ring finger. It's something that ever since you were born, he was like that. He told you that it got crimped in a jack. But just throwing that detail out there.
Good to know.
Yeah, he gives you a big
Very
hug and
flavorful.
sends you off to bed.
Totally not space cockroach related.
No.
100% not.
Mm-mm. Nobody got their fingers bit off at any point. We don't do that sort of thing around here. So, the rest of you, Kazuma, what are you doing?
Freaking out.
Do you tell anybody anything?
No.
Katarina notices that you're being really weird, and she says, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
What's wrong with you? Ugly.
Deflecting.
Again.
She says, "I just spent the last 7 hours slaving over boiling pots of ramen. Sure, I'm ugly, but at least, I could be stupider at least."
Yeah, I doubt it.
Jerk.
Says, "You're acting like a bigger asshole than usual. What's going on?"
I'm having a bad day, okay? I heard the Canatucks are moving in on my turf.
Canatucks are a joke.
Yeah, and they think that they can come into my neighborhood.
I mean, their MO involves flipping over vending machines to get free snacks. It's pathetic.
Those snacks are a legitimate business venture, Katarina, just like our restaurant.
Oh yes, the wheels of economy turning on bags of Cheetos.
Have you had the new jalapeno ones? They're delicious.
I'm more of a Bugles lady. Anyway,
Probably why you don't have a boyfriend.
as you're trying to fall asleep, it's pretty hard to get the visions of this thing just like eating someone's head. I mean, he was just basically cracking his skull open like a walnut and just getting at the yummy stuff
Just
inside.
thinking awful Bug's life. That's quite terrifying.
But you're eventually able to fall asleep, and it feels like only a matter of moments before your alarm goes off, and you realize that it's time for the school day to begin. And with Laura being missing, I think that we might go ahead and call it here. It's we've got a 2-hour session in for the introduction, but that way next session we can start with actual classes and stuff. And by then I will have everything transcribed over that I need to have, and it'll be perfect.
More screaming in people's brains.
Screaming in people's brains.
I stole a cop car in the introduction.
Yeah, you did.
I watched.
I mean,
I napped.
To be fair, you got there 20 minutes ahead of Kath, so you weren't the only one thinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kath had messaged like, as soon as the race starts, I'm gonna go check out the cop car.
I'm surprised there are no repercussions for me being there.
Yeah,
Yay.
no, of course not. No one
Yeah,
saw
you're like
anything.
you're like in the midst of like going toward the car when I just slip into it.
Yeah, I'm just.
It's like, wait a second, who's that sprinting down the street like a mad person? But I would like to thank everyone who watched. I would like to thank everyone who played so very, very much, because that was great. Considering it's a pretty foreign setting and stuff, I think that you guys acclimated nicely. And let's see, what do we got going on? On Saturday, we've got Broken World game, which I DM, the near apocalyptic Forgotten Realms.
Well.
And we ought to just call it like Apocalypse Saturday or something, because with Rad Spike,
everything's futile. All is futile Saturday.
The Rad Spike game that plays
Fallout.
afterwards, it is a Fallout flavored game of our player Billy Pilgrim's creation. And
strap on your pop boys, because they're not pet boys.
It's pretty interesting because you're basically watching a system be born through playtesting. It's pretty great. And then Sunday we have Shatterpoint of the Revenant.
Also set in the Broken World, but different part of the continent
with a different DM. And I get to play a crotchety dwarf. It's pretty great. And
and Sterling gets to play an even crotchetier elf, so that's always fun.
there's lots of crocheting. Um, and let's see. And then Monday we have Out of the Abyss with
Through the Darkness with Jasper.
yes, Through the Darkness with the Underdorks. As we have a party that is literally 50% Tabaxi Monk. It's kind of stupid.
It is
but
weird.
It's fun. But
it's very unique.
Before I babble on any further, I will thank you all and wish you good night.
Night. To sleep.